let's cut to the chase. You want to know how well the all-new Toyota Tundra stacks up against the competition. But that's kind of a difficult call to make, considering in full-size pickup trucks, the competition ranges anywhere from around 30 grand all the way up to like Wolf of Wall Street. But I will say this, at this particular Tundra's as-tested price of $59,000, I'm not really sure there's anything else that can match it. What's going on, everyone? Jax here, and today I am with the all-new 2022 Toyota Tundra TRD Off-Road. I want to get my least favorite aspect of the Toyota Tundra out of the way first, lest you think I'm biased. While I will admit the look has grown on me, I'm just not in love with the Tundra's styling, and I don't really know why. I don't know what it is. It's bold, it's aggressive, it's definitely a departure from the previous generation's sort of rounded conservative styling, but something about it just hasn't quite clicked with me yet, and I'm not sure why. Still, I will admit that it does look better in person, and I certainly don't dislike the way it looks. Kind of like I generally dislike the way the Nissan Titan looks. You know, like it just remembered swing music used to be a thing.
You're so money and you don't even know it.
Also, people have already started modifying these things, and some of those Tundras certainly look awesome. So let's just say that the potential is definitely there. But you know what? That's okay, because at the end of the day, trucks are about power and utility, and my buying decision certainly wouldn't be swayed by something like the exterior styling, especially if I liked everything else. So let's talk about power. To start with, this 3.5-liter twin-turbo V6 is pretty nuts, and it's the standard engine. Here you get 389 horsepower and a whopping 479 pound-feet of torque, all running through a 10-speed automatic transmission. If you step up to the iForce Max, those numbers increase to 437 horsepower and a prodigious 583 pound-feet of torque. And those numbers come with better gas mileage? Yes, the iForce Max has a hybrid assist system, so it averages 22 miles per gallon, while this standard engine can only manage 20 miles per gallon. And like, that's a win-win, you know? I mean, I say later in the driving portion that I think this engine is enough, but if you could step up to the more powerful engine and get better fuel economy, doesn't seem like much of a penalty to me. And power is just one impressive aspect of the new Tundra. It has an all-new frame, fully boxed for extra strength, as well as steel cross members that are double the size of the previous generation Tundra. It's got a multi-link rear suspension. It's got lightweight steel and aluminum body panels. Although this tester has a couple dents in the hood, and I'm not sure if that's a commentary on the strength of the body panels or just the fact that testers lead pretty hard lives. And you want to give this thing a hard life because it's a TRD off-road trim, which, if you didn't know, is just one rung below Toyota's legendary TRD Pro trim. Think of the TRD Pro as like Thor.
Because that's what heroes do.
And then think of the TRD off-road as like Captain America. Like, he's super strong, but he's not as strong as like Thor. I spent way too much time thinking about this. The TRD off-road trim comes with specific Bilstein shocks, a locking rear differential, TRD wheels wrapped in Falcon Wild Peak tires, all-terrain, as well as Toyota's off-road aids such as multi-terrain select and crawl control. If you've never had the chance to use either of those, you're missing out. They're freaking great. The main difference between this and the TRD Pro, in case you're wondering, is advanced off-road Fox shocks as well as some heavy-duty underbody skid plates. That's what kind of elevates the Pro, is that it's like specifically made to conquer the off-road. The off-road? Oh, and this pickup truck bed has a composite bed liner, a tie-down rail system, LED lighting all the way around, as well as a 400-watt outlet. It also has a hidden tailgate release switch. Ooh. And don't worry, Toyota Tundra fans, the rear window still retracts. It's a Toyota thing. So the Tundra is obviously capable, but what is it like to live with? So here we are behind the wheel of the 2022 Toyota Tundra. And, you know, for a full-size truck, this thing is very easy to live with. I mean, there's a lot of things to like about the way that this thing drives. We're gonna take it down the handling road just to, you know, do it because, like, why not, you know? Sure, that's what you're gonna do with your full-size truck, take it down the handling road. But, you know, your basic day-to-day driving back and forth, your inputs with the steering wheel, the throttle, and the brake, I mean, this is pretty much everything that you could want from a truck. Before we get to the handling road, I want to highlight a couple things. First of all, brake pedal feel. I really like it in this truck. It's nice and firm and progressive. It definitely gives you a sense of confidence and control. Really good considering I've kind of roasted Toyota brakes in the past for being kind of overly grabby at low speeds. None of that in this thing. Also, I would credit the throttle pedal with having a very linear action, meaning it generally gives you exactly the amount of power that you expect. And obviously, if you're driving a large utility vehicle or something that's gonna go off-road, you kind of appreciate that predictability. And there's plenty of power on tap as well. We'll have a little fun with that in a second. And this is the regular engine. So props to Toyota for giving this thing a very motivational powertrain. Dynamically, from a driving standpoint, my only real, you know, criticism, and it's not really a criticism, it's just the way that this thing drives, is that like some Toyota trucks, and I've said before, I think it has something to do with their off-road capability, the steering is pretty slow. The weighting is perfect. The weighting's perfect. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. Perfect weighting, but just the steering is slow. It's not super fast off center. I think that's because in an off-road situation, you wouldn't really want it to be quick, but you know, it's what I've come to expect from like a Toyota truck. I noticed it in the old Tundra, in the Tacoma, so I don't have any complaints about that. You get used to it. It's just when you're in a parking lot, it's gonna take some school bus style wheeling to get the truck to turn. Now, on a straight sort of suburban road like this, the Tundra feels pretty good. The suspension damping is nice. It's on, I guess you would say, the softer side, but not too soft at all. I would say that I think a little bit more vibration from the road texture is communicated through the cabin than you'd get on like the Sierra. I think the GM Twins are some of the better kind of riding trucks out there. This one reminds me a little more of the F-150 in the way that it drives. Not that that's a bad thing. Oh no, it reminds me of the best-selling vehicle ever. But there's just a little bit of that kind of texture coming through. But it's not, I would maybe give this the edge over the F-150. Of the ones that I've driven, and I haven't driven the Ram, hello Ram, any day now Ram, give me a Ram, but I've tested all the other big trucks, and I think that this one strikes a nice kind of balance. You know, you get a little too much of that vibration, but honestly, I'm okay with it. This is a very large and utilitarian vehicle. Now, we are turning onto the handling road. And one of the things that, despite what I just said, is impressive is that this truck deals with this first sort of off-center roughness pretty well for a full-size pickup truck. So the bad part of the road is on the passenger side of the vehicle, so it kind of straddles it. And when you hit it right here, that's not bad. You go up and down a little bit, but this is the TRD off-road, so it's got the more off-road bias shocks, but honestly, coming around this corner, I'm, bothered more by the slowness of the steering than I am the lean of the truck. It doesn't really bother me at all. And in general, for a full-size pickup, it is handling this road very well. The only thing that I would say handles it as good as this would be the GMC Sierra, but that's my favorite one in ride and handling. So I think if you're interested in the Tundra, you're gonna be very satisfied with the way that this thing drives. Let me see, the big bump is coming up right here. Not bad, not bad. So this is a very competent handling truck on a very incompetently paved road. One thing I'm gonna throw in at the end of this little driving segment is we are about to drive this thing to Savannah, Georgia, which I live in Atlanta, and that's about a 4-hour drive. So I'm gonna get some solid highway miles. And once I do, I will kind of film that and report back to you. What is this thing like on trips? Because like it or not, full-size pickups have become sort of this American trip conveyance, just as much as full-size SUVs, which I'm interested in that Sequoia. Toyota, can't wait for it to come out. When that thing comes out, hit me up. Now, one thing I will point out, because I just noticed it, is that this is a kind of mid to upper grade limited trim, and so it has traditional gauges. That's not the digital dash. It is what it is. I'm okay with that at this price point. This is $59,000. I've said it a couple times already. I'm okay with that at this price point. I sort of don't love that it has Toyota's like kind of old school vertical rectangle info like little screen, just because it's been around, so it kind of instantly dates the gauge cluster a little bit for me, having tested so many Toyotas. It's not a deal breaker, I'm just pointing that out. Also, is it just me, or is the lane kind of keep assist in this feels a little conservative? Maybe just because it's a large vehicle, and the last Toyotas I had were the Camry and the GR86, was noticeably smaller. I just feel like it's been nudging me and beeping a little more than usual, but maybe it's just me. Now, what about that power? Let's wrap up with that, or at least wrap up this part with that, and then I'll cut to me after the trip. A lot of people made, kind of, I wouldn't say a fuss, but they noted the fact that this thing was going to a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 as opposed to the 5.7 liter V8. And that V8 was kind of well known for being really smooth, super reliable, and having kind of a glorious engine note, to be honest with you. See what I mean? Like, that was like the main thing I liked about the TRD Pro Tundra before it was redesigned, the old one. I didn't like much else about it because it was so old, but man, I like that V8. So in this that has the standard engine, how does the standard engine do? I mean, it's not like it's not put out healthy numbers. Well, I'll give you a little taste of the standard engine. And also, before I do that, shout out to this 10-speed automatic. It has been unperturbed. It has been unflappable in its operation. The only thing I noticed is that for some reason, it seems to give a little like lurch when you go from reverse to drive, kind of like it forgot what you wanted or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It only seemed to happen on sort of like an incline, but whatever. Anyway, I shall check for traffic. There's a Subaru coming, and now twin turbo V6. Floored. Not a bad sound either. I wonder how much of that sound is fake. I don't really care because it's pretty nice. Now, I will say in that situation, I kind of pulled out a little faster than I intended, and the transmission probably should have kicked down. It didn't. It relied on the torque to pull it forward. But like, there was a lot of torque there, so like, why not, I'm not really gonna complain about that, mainly because I pulled out quicker than I meant to, and so I'm not surprised it didn't kick down. But let me give this car in front of me a little bit more space, and we'll see how it does when I just drop the hammer mid-drive, right about now. So, a little slow to kick down there, kind of like it wasn't sure if that's what I wanted. I still like that engine note, but man, that torque hits, and we went from speed limit to above the speed limit like right away. My point is, I think you'll be satisfied with this powertrain if you don't want to spring for the more expensive, more powerful one. Now the iForce Max, oh my God, what is it, like 570 pound-feet of torque or something like that? That's crazy. And the fact that it gets better gas mileage than this, yes, please. Would I probably spec my Tundra with that? Well, of course, because I'm an asshole. But maybe you're not, and I don't think you should feel like you have to spec your Tundra with that engine. All in all, guys, I'm happy with the way that this thing drives. Let's check in with future me and see what he has to say. Yes, hello and welcome to Savannah, where I am for a volleyball tournament, because that's what I do every weekend when I'm not filming videos for you guys. So how did the Tundra do on a longer journey? Well, the Tundra did great. It's incredibly comfortable on the highway. That good body control, that good damping, it pays dividends when you're on a long highway cruise. And the Tundra glided over kind of larger heaves in the road surface because we were taking interstates. If you didn't know, Savannah's about 4 hours south of Atlanta, and it was incredibly comfortable. That kind of road texture I described on rough, kind of suburban roads, not an issue on the highway at all. So the Tundra did amazing. The seats are comfortable, the cabin is roomy, I had plenty of lumbar for my messed up back. So I was very happy with the Tundra as a highway cruiser. One criticism is that the cruise control feels kind of last gen. There's nothing really special about it. It's a basic sort of radar adaptive cruise control system, but with Ford incorporating its sort of Blue Cruise and GM Super Cruise coming to its full-size trucks, I just feel like that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. Maybe Toyota's going to kind of upgrade to something better, and those are more for higher trims of the F-150 and the GM Twins, but I feel like the Tundra system is kind of, I don't know, like not old tech, but kind of like current tech. Nothing really future about it. I also don't like how you have to press the lane keep assist twice to get the steering assist. But other than that, the Tundra was great on the highway. Oh, and another thing that I would point out is that because I had the Tundra, I was sort of the unofficial dad shuttle for some of the other volleyball players. And apparently the giant 14-inch infotainment screen was a hit with a bunch of 16-year-old girls who all commented on how big and awesome the infotainment screen was. Now, Mrs. Jax did say she thought it was a little too big, and I will note that on a trip when you are sort of trading off navigation or infotainment duties with your passenger, I don't typically notice a long reach across the screen, but Mrs. Jax was like, I'm not tall enough to reach the other side of the screen. So that's something you want to keep in mind if you are a average to shorter size driver and you want the 14-inch infotainment screen in your Tundra. The reach across the dash might be a little far for you.
Am I starting?
Yes. I never stopped.
Oh, I didn't know that. Hey guys, this is the Toyota Tundra. Now, I really like this truck. It's big and trucky, which is what I like. I don't want a truck that doesn't really look like a truck. Like if it's gonna be a truck, it needs to be a truck. I love the color. I love the black and the black wheels, black tires. It's real I like the tail lights. You may not even know this, but they're like stripes and they go in like this when they're when you put the blinker on, which I guess is not important, but I appreciate it. I just really like the styling and I like the shape of it, and it's huge, and we traveled to Savannah and we're able to fit all of our stuff in it, so 2 thumbs up. 10 out of 10.
2 thumbs up?
10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up for the Tundra. Okay, so for the inside, I love the seats. They've got like this, I don't know what kind of design that's called, but I think that looks really cool. They're very comfortable. Like I said, we drove from Atlanta to Savannah, so like 4 hours, and I was very comfortable. I'm scooted up pretty far because our 6'1" daughter was in the back. So I'm 5'9", she's 6'1", and we fit perfectly fine. My one thing that I don't like, the screen, I feel like it's too big. And I love a good screen, but I just feel like it takes up like so much space and is like really big. And we had some teenagers in the car, like they were looking inside and they were like, whoa, that's a big screen. And I just think it's...
They all liked it though.
They liked it, but like, I guess I don't know. I think it's a little too big. I just feel like there's not enough space for like other stuff. But that's just me. It's got the cool charge pad here, which is nice. The cup holders are nice. This big old thing is nice, whatever this is called. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And back seat, lots of space because it was raining, so we had to put all of our like luggage in the seat, so we couldn't put it in the way back. But I love it. 9 out of 10 in here. 9 out of 10. Okay, so I do have one complaint. Like I said, I love a big truck. I love that it's big and high and trucky, but it's like really far off the ground and there's no running boards. And like I'm 5'9", but like when I get out, I'm like, whoa, I have to like jump out. And our daughter, who's 6'1", said the same thing. So like, I need some running boards. Is that a thing? Like the kind that come out and go back in?
Well,
Can we do that?
I don't want them. It's a 4x, it's a TRD off-road. It's gotta be up high.
Okay, I don't know what all that means. But I can't get in the car.
Just be taller.
Okay, no, I am pretty tall. I can't be taller. But like,
Not
what
as
about the
tall
ones
as
that come
me.
out and go back?
I'm 6'6". Regular viewers know this.
What about the ones that come out and go back in?
Well, maybe.
Can you off-road with those?
I don't know, Toyota.
Can we do it, Toyota? Let's do it.
Well, in terms of daily livability, this limited trim really hits a sweet spot for me. Let me tell you why. For $59,000, you get heated and cooled seats with memory position, you get a heated steering wheel, you get the giant 14-inch infotainment screen with the surround view cameras, and you get Toyota's Safety Sense version 2.5 or whatever. All you need to know is that Safety Sense covers you in pretty much every direction, and Toyota's system is one of the better ones on the market, and now it's a little bit better. The materials are decent, the layout is useful, and all the controls feel kind of properly trucky and substantial. They're big and chunky and easy to press, just like the old thing they always say if you had gloves on if you were a worker. I've never worked something that required gloves, but I imagine more manly men than me appreciate this layout, and it has a volume knob. As you'd expect, the back seat is enormous, and there is further storage underneath it as well. And Apple CarPlay is wireless, and it works like a charm. It connected so fast to my iPhone, and I appreciate that, as sad as it is to say. Is there a catch? Well, yes and no. This market segment moves very, very quickly, and I think depending on the trim you get of the Tundra, the interior materials are good, but they're not necessarily great. I mean, you've got things like the Ram that has kind of advanced the game. I would say this is maybe on par with the F-150, if slightly behind. It's light years better than the GM twins, but they're about to receive an interior refresh that's extremely comprehensive. So as a mid-level kind of trim, this limited trim, I'm fine with it, but I can't comment on the sort of interior quality or how it stacks up of like the capstone trim. Also, it has to be pointed out that all three of the big three offer little proprietary things, like Ford's little measurement things in the bed and its little hidden storage and the stupid folding gear lever, which I hate. I hate that thing. I think it's the dumbest thing ever, but they have it. They also have all those trick tailgates and stuff. This does not. It just has the secret release, but that's about it. And even though a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster is available on the Tundra, you have to step up to higher trims to get it. I feel like this model's so comprehensively equipped that maybe it should have the gauge cluster too. As it stands, it just has kind of boring regular gauges, which, you know, it's fine and they're perfectly functional, and I definitely appreciate good old analog gauges, but you know, the market is moving and people like their screens. Oh, and the little 3D surround view that comes up is just hopelessly silly and utterly useless, so forget about that. But should any of this deter you from getting a Tundra? I don't really think so. See, a Tundra like this one really hits the bullseye for me. It can do pretty much anything you'd want. It can go pretty much anywhere you'd want to go, and it'll last pretty much as long as you're likely to live. Honestly, and it sort of pains me to say it because this is where the market has gone, for $59,000, that's a heck of a deal. Put it this way, last year, the Ford Powerboost hybrid I had, which was basically about maxed out, was $74,000. The GMC Sierra Denali I had last month was $72,000. It is absolutely not worth that much money. Do not buy that trim. And the Sierra AT4 that I had a while back was like 64 and change. So this undercuts all three of them by some or a lot, and honestly, what more do you really need than this? It's also worth noting, to be perfectly honest with you, that with Tacoma prices being what they are, a Tacoma TRD Pro is not even 10 grand less than this. This is more like 5 grand less than this. So like, why not just get a Tundra? And with the exception of the Tacoma TRD Pro, this is probably as capable, if not more capable, off-road than any of those trucks I just mentioned. See, the Tundra as you see it here finds that sort of sweet spot in the midst of perception, market placement, and daily livability. There's a lot of full-size trucks that kind of coast on one or two of those elements, but the Tundra has sort of pieces of all three. It has Toyota's reputation for dependability and durability. It's very reasonably priced at 59 grand, and it's super easy to live with every day. Not to mention it gives you most of the features that you could ever want in a full-size truck. In my opinion, if you could get something this comprehensive in the full-size pickup truck market for under $60,000, that is a win. And after seeing some of the ways in which people are modifying these things, I think that I could definitely learn to live with the styling. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for being here, checking out this channel. Hopefully you enjoyed this review or at least found it useful. I think the Tundra is sort of elevated itself right into the middle of the market as one of the kind of most comprehensive and complete full-size pickup truck offerings, giving you a lot of different things for the price. In that price range, right around $60,000, it makes a very strong argument for itself. Now, in terms of like the SR5 more base model or the kind of higher level platinum capstone kind of trims, I'll leave that until I get behind the wheel of one. And I'm hoping to get behind the wheel of the TRD Pro later this year, which I'm pretty excited about because, man, I love me some TRD Pro Toyotas. So I will report back with more information on that. Let me know down below, why or why not do you consider or would consider the Toyota Tundra? I most certainly would. This is a very, very good full-size pickup truck. All right, thanks so much. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to share this video with anyone who's looking for a full-size pickup truck. And as always, ride safe, drive safe, and I will see you in the next video. All right, peace. Oh, there goes a guy in a Carolina squat. So first of all, that's probably illegal. And secondly, tells me everything I need to know about you. Toyota Tundra, oh my God, there's that dog. I hate that dog. I hate that dog. You're gonna drive by barking like a freaking idiot. You're gonna do it all the way out of the park too. This is gonna become a running joke at the end of my videos. Person in a silver Audi Q5 with the most annoying dog in the world. Bark at the air, dog. Bark at the air.